Hooray.
down at Bemis Point. In
Oh,
Lakewood.
Bemis.
Yeah, Bemis Point.
In Bemis?
Yeah.
Where?
At the golf course.
At the golf?
It's a fundraiser, and they do Christmas tree burning. There's a lot of people that bring their Christmas trees from there. Big
Big bonfire.
Yeah.
When is it? Soon?
Saturday.
Soon, okay.
At least it's supposed to be warmer.
In the 20s, maybe.
Yeah, it'll be a tropical heat wave.
Yeah, air quality is worse. Bemis Point. But they have to do it now. Another month and a half. The burn ban comes on.
The everything ban comes out
Everything ban.
for a halt. Not a lot of happy campers now.
I had a massive brush pile down there. And when the ban ends in May, it's too dry to burn. And in the fall, when I burn this legal, it's dried up brush. I mean, the grasses are tall and everything, and I didn't get a mold this year. I mean, it's worse pasture, it's big brush pile in the middle. So it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I was talking about the DEC stuff, or the wetland stuff that's going on.
Oh, the wetland stuff that's going on is deceiving because everybody's afraid that potholes are going to be regulated and you're going to raise backyards.
We are live streaming now, so just forewarned, you will be caught on camera. Hi, Larry. Yeah, they're talking about not being able to put your dog out without a permit.
The DEC has already worked up a general permit for dogs. I mean, they're not.
Again.
You have to, but it,
At 7?
no, I'm looking at all these. Yeah, it is. Wait, I'll put it down. Ready to read?
Okay, we're going to start the meeting, but we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you wouldn't mind standing, please. Roll call, please, Cindy. Here.
Here.
John Lopez,
Here.
Joseph Keith,
Here.
Lawrence Korzenski.
Here.
Anthony Gorski,
Here.
Michael Reinhold,
Here. Pardon? Did you miss one?
A different order.
I think you got everybody.
The lineup changed.
Okay, welcome everyone to the Town of Lancaster Planning Board meeting. Please keep in mind that we are recommending an advisory board board only. Let's see here. Where do we go? Take a look at the meeting minutes from January 8th. The board. Any additions or deletions or corrections? No? All good? Okay, look for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. All right, move on to our communications list. And while the board is taking a look at that, just for the recording, let everybody know that planning board meetings are available to view on the Town of Lancaster website via live streaming. Letters with comments on planning board projects should be mailed to the attention of Chair Dorenzo. All good on communications? Okay. We will move on to our first case, our first project. Revised site plan for project number 9546, DG Markets at 3972 Walden.
Good evening. Mark Romanowski here again for the Broadway Group. The last time we were before the board was taking up the question of seeker determination on the project. During that hearing, we heard a lot of concerns regarding traffic in particular, and we went back to the drawing board and looked at an access point off of Walden Avenue. Now, this is something we, as Ed's aware of, we've approached the DOT previously about, and the DOT was not receptive to it, but we intend to push that forward regardless of the DOT's position on it in light of the opposition to that driveway access. So we've revised the site plan from the previous submission to show that access point onto Walden Avenue. It affects, obviously, the access point. It also affects the loading dock area as far as where the loading dock is, as opposed to where it was in the last go around. Otherwise, the store itself has not changed. So there's no other changes to the elevations. Nothing in that regard has changed. There will be some tweaks that will need to be made to, for instance, the stormwater management system, and we'll be working with that on that particular piece. We've discussed that with him already, so he's already aware of it. So without further delay, we can go briefly through the slides here, and that has the updated site plan, landscaping plan on it as well. So this is what we've provided in the presentation. So next slide.
And everybody back there can see the screen, correct? Okay, just want to make sure.
So as you can see here, as opposed to having access onto Quail Run, the access is now on the eastern side of the site onto Walden Avenue. The loading dock is now in this area of the store, so it's again shifted to this side of the site. Trucks will enter into the site and then back into the loading area. Fairly common for these stores. It's a typical arrangement for them, so not particularly problematic. And then exit back onto Walden Avenue. We're providing the same amount of parking as we did previously. That hasn't changed at all. And generally, certainly the store layout is the same. The orientation is slightly shifted. The store is a little bit further to the west in order to accommodate the loading dock and parking on the east side of the site. Next slide, please. So here we show the landscaping. Obviously, without parking or driveway access, along Quail Run. It now gives us an opportunity for more landscaping over there that we didn't have previously. So now we're able to put landscaping along Quail Run. There isn't any parking but for in front of the store. There isn't any parking along Quail Run either. So everything is shifted towards Walden Avenue and then obviously to the east side of the store where the loading dock is. Similar vegetation is what we proposed in the amended landscaping plan the last time, so we didn't change the species, but we did have more additional plantings. We still have the fencing around the perimeter as the board had asked for previously in the previous revision, so that hasn't changed as a result of the change to the site plan. So while certainly a major change in the access to it, the rest of the site plan is not particularly significantly changed. But I'm happy to pause here on this particular piece to see if the board has any questions on this before we get to, truck movements and renderings.
I just want to make one comment to make sure that everybody is aware that by doing this, it now is in alignment with what our police chief and highway superintendent had suggested also. They were concerned about ingress and egress as well, and this alleviates their concerns.
It's good to hear, certainly. Quite frankly, when we came into this, that was our preferred arrangement, was to come off of Walden Avenue. It's just, as I said in one of the earlier meetings, the DOT pushes us to go to Quail Run, and in fact, your own code sort of pushes us to put on a Quail Run, but that, clearly was not something that, was well received. So that's why we made the change. Next slide.
Any other comments by the board?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
On that site plan?
Okay. Next slide, great, thank you. So here's the truck movements. As you can see, pretty straightforward, in and out. They didn't show the turn in, but again, it's turn in here, back into the loading area. Fairly common setup for these stores.
We have a sheet like that in our packet, though.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the same.
What size trailer is this? I thought this looks like almost a full size. I thought you said.
Yeah, so on that particular point, what I didn't realize is that our traffic engineer, and when they put the plan together, they actually use a full 66-foot trailer as what they depict for just the ability to move. It doesn't mean that that's the type of truck that comes in and out of there with regularity, but they want to show that they can handle essentially whatever could go in and out of the site.
Well, but Member Gorski's got a great point there, because at the last presentation, that's what we heard, is that you don't use tractor trailers there.
We do, but not that big. So they're shorter tractor trailers is a typical, but the traffic engineer uses 66-foot, and this one is the same 66-foot tractor and trailers arrangement, just to show that it has the capability of handling it, not that that's the intent.
So your deliveries are done after store hours or before store hours?
They're kind of arranged, usually they're early, so it's not after, given the store hours closing at 10 o'clock. So they're usually early in the morning, and there may be some local deliveries that come in during the day, so your like local bread deliveries or beverage deliveries that come from local distributors, they can be any time of day.
It just looks like that could get a little dicey if patrons are going in and out of the parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, it could affect the need to use the spots in the rear, certainly, but in this area, again, it's something they do regularly on their stores, and it hasn't proven to be a problem. It's not like they're queuing for a long period of time when
This looks
they
like
make
it's
that turn.
backing in off Walden Avenue.
No, that's going back out to Walden. So
Okay.
they pull in here,
All right.
make a left, and then back into the
I thought they were
loading
backing in
area.
off Walden.
No, no.
It's never going to work.
No, absolutely not. Nope,
Harriet shows that in our packet of stuff they mailed us.
Got it.
yeah. Any other questions on the parking or the truck or loading areas, entrance? Sorry, I keep pushing this thing down, I keep making it shorter.
Does this layout still does it require any variances?
It does. You've jumped ahead of me a little bit. When I get there, I'll run through all the variances. All right, next slide. Again, just as a reminder of what the, what the store is going to look like, the store is not changed. This is the former rendering, so it doesn't show the driveway the way it's configured now. We haven't updated those renderings, but I just wanted to reinforce that the look of the store has not changed just because we've moved it around. The only thing that's changed is the parking arrangements. And the loading dock, which previously was in the rear, is now on the right rear corner, which internally to the store isn't that significant of a difference, because it was the right rear previously. Okay, next slide. So the variances that we're requesting are, there's a setback, there's a 35-foot setback interpretation from Quail Run. We're showing the store 20 feet from Quail Run, so that's one of the variances. A 15-foot parking area setback from the right-of-way, that's the front parking lot, is 15 feet instead of 20 feet. The side yard setback on the east side, the code requires 25 feet, that's 15 feet from the parking, for the property line. The 35 parking spaces, same as previously, that one was in place. And some of these were similar on the last plan as well. There was parking areas that were about the same distance from Quail Run and needed setback variances as well. And then one loading space that blocks parking spaces is the last variance that we need. The code requires that a loading space does not block parking spaces. So those are the variances that we're requesting. We're also requesting a waiver or variance from the traffic overlay requirement that would have required access on the Quail Run. But again, that seems to be the consensus that folks would prefer coming off of Walden Avenue. So those are the changes that we've made to the plan since we were last before this board last month. We're happy to answer any questions that the board might have. Tara's here with me from the Broadway group as well. She braved the snow.
What's the required rear yard setback?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but we're well in excess of it, so it's not even a factor here.
Okay, so if you're well in excess of it, why don't you slide the whole building back so you don't need the front yard setback?
Well, it's the front yard's actually off of Quail Run. That's where the setback's needed.
Oh.
And plus, that's where the stormwater detention area is in the back of the site. And we'd much rather have green space, landscaping, et cetera, at the rear of the store rather than up front on Walden Avenue.
So you're saying that the front yard is actually the west side?
Yeah, because you have, Quail Run is treated as another front yard. So it's like a corner side yard setback requirement in your code. It's the same whether it's the main road or the side road. It's the same setback. So that's why we need the variance. So the store shifted to the west from the previous design, because the previous design, it was shifted more towards the east because there was no parking or loading on the east side, so the store shifted to the west in order to accommodate the access off of Walden.
And so everyone's clear, this board has nothing to do with the variances. That would be the zoning board of appeals.
Correct.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Have you considered a low-rise, very low-rise sign because of the character of this neighborhood? I saw one out at Bill's Stadium, Southwestern Boulevard. It was almost on the ground, no pole. It was stone, and it was attractive.
Yeah, we're not currently, I think we're not, yeah, it's a monument sign? Okay, thanks. It's a monument sign, so it's going to be similar to what you see at that one.
Okay, well, I think that's important for the neighborhood.
Yeah, so that's going to be on the northwest corner, or sorry, yeah, southwest corner, sorry, southwest corner of the site.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if that's the best place for your dumpster, but on the other hand, I can't think of any place else to put it. because it's kind of backs up towards the first house on Quail, but it's pretty far away. I really can't think of any place else to put it. I just don't,
Yeah, it's actually further away now than it was in the
Yeah.
prior plan.
yeah. You, the stuff that goes in your, do you have like cardboard recycling separate and all that stuff?
I don't know if they keep it necessarily separate, do they, Tara?
We actually do. They are environmentally friendly where they can be, and so they do separate out things that can be recycled, like cardboard versus your.
So it's two dumpsters? Two dumpsters in there? Yeah. So one is recycling and one is the plastics and styrofoam and all that stuff.
Right, right. And it's fenced in, so it's,
Yeah, I just
It's
think
screened
time
and
of
fenced.
day, garbage trucks come to dump dumpsters and, you know. I was at a place one time, the truck came and put the dumpster up there. It was one of those super windy days we get, and nothing in there was bagged, it was paper, and it blew for miles. And it was just, and it was a store, you know, it wasn't a home, and I was like, oh my God. So, I guess there's nothing you can do to regulate what the weather's doing.
no.
But I was just wondering, because when like cardboard gets crushed or flattened, I was thinking about debris. I'm just, if it happens, it's going to catch on your fence.
Right.
And then you have to go clean it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because you've got fencing on
On
the two sides of it, so,
And
yeah.
Did you go with 8-foot high fencing?
That's what you requested,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Ed, anything from engineering?
No, not at this point. Once they get through there and they resubmit some engineering plans, we'll review them, but I don't expect any difficulties, just reconfiguration.
Emily, anything from legal?
Just briefly, you mentioned the access management entrance through Quail Run and how we need a waiver. It kind of sounded like it was coming from the zoning board, but that would actually come as a recommendation from the planning board to the town board
Okay.
to apply a waiver on this. So that's a decision that you guys would have to make.
Okay. Matt, anything from building department?
Just echo what Emily just mentioned.
Okay, great. Supervisor Larry, any questions or comments from you?
No, sir, just here to learn tonight.
Okay. At this point, we'll open up for public comment if anyone would like to speak. Please keep in mind that we ask you to speak to the board only, not to the applicant. Hello.
Dan Bedell. I live at 3976 Walden. I'm the first house on the east side of where they want to put this building. All right. Can they put up that first thing they had here?
Cindy.
That first drawing?
Yeah. The site plan? That one?
Yeah. All right. The first problem I have is this is my house right here. They've got it labeled as Bedell Custom, my business name, gun shop. That's my house. It's not a gun shop, okay? Just so you know. The building back here is my shop, okay? Now, the biggest problem I have is this whole thing in general, but now they've moved where they're bringing the trucks in, and this being my house right here, my bedroom and my spare bedroom face west, which is right where the truck traffic is going to be pulling in and out all day long. Okay? Trucks sitting there idling, all the noise, everything coming in and out of here, right next to my bedroom, 15 feet probably from my bedroom window. All right, this whole thing is just a bad idea. You're going to drop this behemoth of a building right into a beautiful subdivision, and my house just sitting here all by itself, and you're going to drop this huge building right in here. I don't like anything about it. Nobody likes it. All my friends in Quail Run, nobody likes it, okay? This is not something that you want in a nice subdivision with a lot of families, a lot of kids. It's just, I think this whole project is ridiculous, okay? I know it's zoned for it and all that, but this whole thing needs to be tossed, all right? I mean, that's the way I see it. How would you like to have your bedroom window facing this here? They're going to have an 8-foot fence here, trucks going in and out of here all day long. Sometimes I work in the morning, sometimes I work at night. How am I going to sleep? How is my wife going to get any rest when trucks going in and out of here all the time? Right? It makes no sense to me. I mean, it's completely ridiculous that you're going to try to stuff a business like this into this lot, into a beautiful residential area. It makes no sense. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, Christina and Peter Semino, 2 Quail Run Lane. Can I ask just one question? Because at our last meeting, it was brought up for them to look at the lot at Walden and Central, and we're wondering, did that ever happen? Did they ever consider that to be an alternative to where it is?
Can't say, we're just hearing the project as...
No, I was wondering, could you ask them? No, it was asked of them if they could look at that lot.
Has the applicant looked at the other lot, the alternative lot that was presented?
We have not, no.
Okay, thank you.
Just a quick recap, mostly for you guys, not so much an issue. Definitely the Quail Run issue was one of many that we had before. Just like zoning requirements, just like everything that has to be looked at, we're hoping that's why we're here. These people have shown up, that we aren't happy with all the changes that need to be made in order to make this place stay that nobody wants. The parking space compliance, truck maneuverability, landscape coverage, stormwater management, setback and utility conflicts, traffic flow and safety. These are all things you have to be thinking about. I don't know if you are. I can only see from what we see on these meetings, and it seems like you're somewhat concerned, but you also have a job to do. Air pollution, noise pollution, environmental impacts on the neighborhood. What is it that you guys are going to make sure doesn't happen, that most of us don't want this store here? That zoning, even though it's changed, it should have been for a residential property or an office space that's 9 to 5, that isn't going to be impacting our neighborhood with truck traffic and that kind of stuff. That's all we're asking. We've been here 20 plus, almost 25 years in that neighborhood. We love it, we live it, we want it to be the best it can be, and we don't want our property values going down. There's a study that says that when you bring in a dollar store of this nature, 16 to 20% of an impact of lowering the actual economic, what our homes are worth. That's not helpful for any of us. None of us need that. Especially the way Buffalo's housing market is doing very well. We don't want to impact Lancaster's, like their property values. So that's about all I wanted to say. I want to thank you again for listening and taking a few minutes to hear what the residents have to say. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Wonka Huri. I live at 3 Quail Run Lane, very, very close to this project. I have a few concerns. The egress and egress had changed, but it doesn't change the volume of traffic on Walden or the noise that we have progressively noticed is increasing with Orville's. You have semi and large trucks going in and out. I live at 3 Quail Run. I hear them backing up to their docks at 3 Quail Run. I can't even imagine how loud it's going to be when it's right across the street from me. The constant noise of trucks backing in and out is just obnoxious. The garbage that is being dumped at Orville's was being done at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know if you've ever seen a garbage being picked up. They lift this metal thing, lift it, and then they bang it and bang it and bang it until it's empty, and then they set it down. Now imagine waking up to that at 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's when they're going to have it done, right? It's going to be delivered before the store hours, all their supplies, and the garbage is going to be picked up at that time as well. So my concern is that the traffic is not really going to be adequate for this type of store. I think that Walden is already extremely busy with traffic as is from Amazon, from Orville's, from the pallet store. Now we're adding yet another driveway, yet another space where people are going in and out. We now have the The daycare center on the other side of Quail Run, there's cars going in and out. It's impossible sometimes just to pull in and out of our neighborhood. Now we're adding yet another store with lots of traffic. The noise, I think, is going to be ridiculous. We're talking about dumpster. They're saying this is going to be the fresh DG market, right? So where is all the produce and all the stuff that expires going into the dump, into the garbage can right next to my neighbor's backyard? Are we going to have rats now in our nice neighborhood? I think this is just not a lot that is designed for this. Clearly, it's too small. It's impeding onto our Quail Run street. They now have to move it onto Quail Run. It's right next to our two neighbors. They don't have space for the required parking. Why are we considering a store that doesn't fit? It just doesn't. It shouldn't be there. No one wants it. We had 190 plus signatures from our entire neighborhood. It shouldn't even be considered. Thank you so much for your time.
Hello. I'm Nancy Reed. I live at 1 Quail Run Lane. And my concern is this is a new concept, as it was stated in the last planning board meeting. So we don't even know how well this business will do. The neighborhood, if they were counting, and that's why they chose this piece of property, because they saw this neighborhood, they'll come, they'll purchase, they'll, we'll do well. But our neighborhood's saying no. And I'm sure Juniper and Traceway, they won't go either. So you're going to allow variances, you're going to allow the change of the structure to accommodate this business, which doesn't fit within the town of Lancaster. And in a year, it's probably going to be under. They're going to close it. And we've known in the past, if you do studies about Dollar General, they put up all these buildings, they close, they stay there. Who would then come in it? Who would take over? That's a worry that I have. And if they're so, trying to start a Dollar General market, why don't they go up to Broadway and revamp that one and see how it does? But they're not going to get the traffic or the movement. I don't know who they feel is going to patronize this business if it's not neighborhoods. It's just industrial, and men work there. You think, I know my husband's not stopping at any grocery store to pick up something. Who's going to be there? And then also, lastly, at the last board meeting, it was brought up, it's not just their trucks coming in. It's their vendors, which are semis. So I don't care what they say about their smaller trucks. There's still semis coming in and out. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gary Nyman, 7 Kellyanne Drive. I am the current president of Stony Brook Legendary Lights, and we happen to have just raised $121,000 for the Boys and Girls Club.
Thank you.
And my concern is, we will basically...
Cindy, could you do over?
It's for... And I say that because of the traffic, and if you've ever come through, Pleasant View can be a 45-minute wait to get into our development. Walden this year, I thought I would take a quick run around, backed up 20 cars both ways. Stony Brook, coming in the other way of Pleasant View, and Stony was backed up. So we just don't need more traffic in that area. I mean, yeah, we're only a month and a half, and then we do it again in the summer, and we're looking at doing more things with our community to open up more. But just thought I'd share that you will lose about a month and a half of revenue.
Hello.
Hi, Don Harder, 14 Hunters Drive, Quail Run subdivision. I have a couple of concerns. The plan that was on the planning board website had a third drawing on it that was totally left off of this presentation. And if you take a look at that drawing, it shows that when the trucks, I'm sorry, can we put that back up again?
She was going to go to the planning board website.
I think it's
It's the last one, the third one.
Oh, so it's on the website, yeah.
Yes, on our website.
So that was the plan that was submitted on when you're looking at page 3.
One, two, one more. There we go. If you take a look at the truck traffic, this, and I don't know why this wasn't addressed in Dollar General's presentation, but if you take a look at the proposed way that these tractor trailers are coming in, it's only a right-hand turn off of Walden Avenue. And I know when we talked about Quail Run, they were going to restrict left-hand turns, right-hand turns, all of this. They didn't even mention that tonight. But the tractor trailer coming in is going to pull in, this is east, from the east into the front of the store, and then maneuver and back all the way up in order to get to the delivery spot, blocking all of these parking spots. Number two, when they leave, if you take a look at this one, the tractor trailer is going to take up both of the exits leaving that site in order to make a westbound exit out of there. Is there a restriction on going right or going to the east? Don't know, because they never addressed this. Why didn't they address this? You know, it clearly states, you know, I'm glad that they got off of Quail Run. You know, we went through that last week, or last meeting, and the meeting before. But this proves that this building is too big for this lot. You know, it's a 10,640 square foot. They're restricting parking to 35. So what happens when they go out of business and they sell? Another business moves in here and they turn around and they take over a nice big store, but guess what? They have no parking. Where are they going to park? They're going to park down Quail Run because they only have 35 spots. You know, we addressed this before. This building is the same size as the one on Broadway, and I have seen on Broadway, and you can see it during the week also, the vendors that are delivering park their tractor trailers right in front of the store. They don't use the loading dock. And you know, I mean, it's just ridiculous that this building, this size, is being squeezed into this lot. We did bring up last meeting, if they could take a look at the corner of Walden and Central, that lot is a lot bigger. It already has access from Walden Avenue and Central Avenue, but they said they didn't even bother looking at it. So they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and this does not fit. And the concern is not only them, it's when they leave. And who buys the building? What do they put in there? They only got 35 lots. You know, the town ordinance says they should have 100 and, or was it 108? You know, that's, it just, it doesn't fit in the neighborhood. And like we said, we're not going to support it. It's not the type of business that should go in there. That's basically all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Oh, it's okay.
Hi, thank you. I'm Pat Harder. I live at 14 Hunters Drive as well. My concern is this, I don't even know if this is part of your job or not, but my concern is the oversaturation of Dollar General in our area within a 5-mile radius. I just don't think it's warranted. I don't think it's needed. And historically, they are not good neighbors. You can look up the OSHA complaints against them, the $1 million lawsuits against them, their violations of fire and garbage and safety regulations. It just doesn't seem like they would be a good neighbor fit for our neighborhood. We already have one. We have 2 that we can drive to very close, less than 5 miles. There's one on Broadway and there's one on Walden, and there's several more. If you Google Dollar General and you look at their locations near you, 6 of them are going to come up within a 5-mile radius. So I just don't feel that, what is the advantage to Lancaster for having this business? Is it going to be a deficit or an asset? Because I don't see the asset. I don't know about the storm drain. I don't know about the garbage, about the rats, what an impact it's going to have on our house values. It just, and they need so many variances to make it fit. It just seems like it doesn't fit. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public? One more.
Got me to drill me in. My name is Dave Zolkowski. I live at 53 Quail Run. I'm off the beaten path in the back, but I got a feeling you're going to get somebody killed with an accident putting us where you are. When they switch Walden from 2 lanes down to 1, I'm pulling in that subdivision to make a right, and there are people on my tail doing 65, 70, and I can't get down to 35, and they're ready to run me over. It's a bike lane there. Somebody is going to get crushed. And now you're talking about bringing semis in and all these other cars. You have a traffic signal right there on Stony now, and cars are just blowing right through it. I see no way that you're going to get a tractor trailer in there in the middle of the day with that kind of traffic coming through there. Not to mention the rats and all that coming in our neighborhood. I've been there 25 years. It's a beautiful area, and that spot's been vacant for a reason. This isn't the reason to fill it. Thanks.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, good evening. My name's Doreen Perello. I live at 46 Quail Run. Could you tell me, is there a sidewalk that is slated to run along this building on Quail Run?
There was. On the site.
The old plan, when the cut was in, I don't.
Is there now?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah.
There's one at Quail Run.
No.
There
This is a very walked neighborhood.
There's a sidewalk on the
There
plan.
is one on the plan right now.
Okay, so it goes all along Quail Run to Walden Avenue.
Correct.
Correct, and that stays, okay. There are a plethora of Dollar Generals, as people have said. Where are they going to pull residential people coming from in order to go to this store? There are basically no houses to the east of the store, minus a very few, less than 5. To the south, it's all industrial. To the west, it's all commercial. They're pulling residential customers or potential customers from the north and the northwest. Most people hate going down Walden now as one lane because it is a disaster. What are they going to do? They're going to drive through Stony Brook. They're going to come from Pleasant View, wind through the Stony Brook, come over to Quail Run. That is a very, if you've never driven it, it's a very curvy road with people parking on the street, and then you have people that are driving through, stop signs. You're going to increase the number of cars that are coming through Stony Brook from Pleasant View, from the high school area, because they're going to not want to go on Walden Avenue. So I don't know if that's been considered, the amount of traffic you are going to be bringing onto these residential streets that are very curvy, windy, and very populated by a lot of people who walk, a lot of people who bike. So I just want you to make sure that you consider where they are pulling potential customers from and look at the traffic pattern that they will use in order to access this location. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Nick Semino, 2 Quail Run. Just curious about this area right here. So this is where the loading dock is going to be. The trailer's going to park into there, and these are parking spots right over here. How are anybody, if somebody parks in one of these few spots, how is the garbage or anybody going to get back into these spots over here? Even though it's like, maybe, it's still going to block out all these spots over here, and it's going to block the garbage truck to go back there. Just doesn't make any sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Carmen Chiaparelli, 47 Stony Brook. My concern is Walden Avenue. We have trouble now getting in and out of there with Orville's and everything. As a father of 5, as a new one that we just had Wednesday, you can't get in and out as it is. And if the tractor trailer, if this doesn't work for them, are they going to try and make an entrance on Quail Run because they can't get in off of Walden after this building's built? I mean, if they can't fit it, we don't want it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? No, we have another one. Hello.
Hello. Hi, Nancy Sahana, 9 Quail Run. And my concern is pretty much what everyone has said, but with being at 9 Quail Run, the noise, the lights, garbage being dumped, rats, all of that stuff is a concern. I mean, I hear Orville's in the early morning hours, and I just don't want to have this right again in my front yard so that I have to listen to all of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the public? Would the applicant care to address some of the concerns that they've heard?
Sure. Good evening. Mark Romanowski again. I think much is being made regarding truck traffic, and it's, in my opinion, grossly exaggerated. There's maybe 2 to 3 deliveries that these stores get per week. This isn't a litany of delivery vehicles coming in and out of the store. So the chances of high conflict associated with delivery vehicles is extremely limited. Relative to traffic from the store itself, Dollar Generals in general are, they draw off of existing traffic flows. So they don't necessarily, they're not destination locations, but instead they look at existing traffic patterns, existing traffic volumes, and they pull from that existing traffic volume. So historically, these stores don't generate new traffic of themselves. So they rely on existing traffic that goes by. Relative to future uses of the property, the town of Lancaster requires a site plan approval for new uses. So any new use would go through the same process regardless of what is done at this particular time. Relative to noise concerns, we certainly understand that and think a reasonable accommodation can be made there, restricting delivery times. That way they're not too early in the morning or too late in the day, that type of thing. That's certainly a reasonable control measure that could be put into place relative to that. And then we also encourage with a lot of boards to include provisions relative to property maintenance as conditions of the site plan approval, which provide enforcement abilities to the towns should there be any concerns regarding property maintenance, whether that's cleaning up refuge, whether that's maintaining landscaping, those type of things. So we actually welcome that as a condition in site plan approval processes. That's pretty much the comments in general that I heard, and happy to respond to any other questions that the board might have.
Any other comments, questions from the board? No?
Can we also comment?
We closed public comment already. We actually have heard. Yeah, they'll be back again, and we'll have another opportunity for more public comment.
Yeah, so as far as what the board has in front of it, again, these plans are the first time you've seen them, so I would envision that you'd want to table it and give it further consideration before you revisit the seeker issues and making a determination on that, as well as the recommendations that you may or may not be making with respect to the site plan. In the interim, if the board has any questions for us, we gladly respond to them along the way, but we believe we've addressed the concerns thus far.
And before we table, or before we make any action, just so everyone in the public is aware, there will be another opportunity for more comments. They'll be back again in front of us, and we welcome your comments again at that point. All right. We don't have it scheduled yet.
I have a,
but we'll notify it'll be on our website.
I have a question. Mark, the gentleman next door, Mr. Fidel, was talking about truck tracking near his house.
Yep.
And I don't know the fencing code well enough to know if that fence could be extended closer to Walden or not. I mean, right now.
I think we could. I mean, we're not, you know, to the point getting into driveway and sight lines.
Yeah.
So,
Right
you know, when the gentleman was mentioning that, you know, certainly bringing it further down, that's a reasonable
It's an
accommodation.
option. I just thought, asked if that's an option.
Yeah, Matt, is that, I don't know if the setback
The
is.
board's direction, that height of the fence could remain in the side yard, but at the front yard setback, it would have to reduce down to avoid any visual barrier.
Right. Right, but how close to Walden can they be? That's front yard.
Yeah, that house is further than that back, so,
Yeah, he could extend it
yeah.
farther because the house sets back past the 35-foot. So that's.
Sure.
Then it would still have to be dropped down to a lower height?
Once we get to the front.
Not until it gets-
Setback area would have to be dropped down.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we probably don't, I mean,
Well, that's an option, but I just thrown that out there because I'm sitting here, I take notes. It helps me sort through my thinking. I mean, you have 5 variances on this plan.
Mhm.
And you have 2 pages of comments from the audience that I took tonight. And I'm just trying to work through what's best for the town. And the town includes the local residents, it also includes everybody else in town. So I'm not making a decision or anything, I'm just saying this is how the process works. We consider, we look, the zoning board of appeals gets to decide whether or not they think the setback or the variances are reasonable. And you do have sidewalks, and you do have a marked walkway from the front door to the sidewalk that goes all the way across the parking lot.
correct.
Okay, so I'm just saying that's where we're at, so. thank you.
At this point, look for a motion to table.
I'll make a motion to table.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. More to come. At this point, we'll move on to our second case of the night, which is revised preliminary plat for project 2413, 0 Ransom Road.
I would say give it just a minute.
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing our group to move.
Oh, problem.
Hold on a second.
Okay, we're ready for you.
All right. Jason Burford with GPI Engineering on behalf of my clients, Richard and Anna Syka. You've seen this project before. We've recommended the neg deck on the environmental, and we had to visit the ZBA. Previously was a 4-lot subdivision. The ZBA would not allow that. They recommended 3 lots, so that's what we've done. Basically, we've kept the corner lot the same, it's code compliant as far as setbacks, width, size, 3 acres, etc. The previous lots 2, 3, and 4, we turned into 2 lots, which would be lots 2 and 3. Just split them right down the middle. The variances we'll be requesting are significantly less We did this in the interest of time and money for our clients, rather than go through a whole redesign process. We've kept the storm drainage and storm water management the same, so they haven't had to worry about that. So really the only, there's no additional impacts, if not there's less to the environment. And so here we're just having to give you folks a chance to review it again as a smaller subdivision, and then we'll be reaching out to the ZBA for smaller variances.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
So you still need variances
Yes.
for lots that don't need code.
Correct.
I'm just getting it clear in my head.
Yep. Any other questions or comments? Ed, anything from engineering?
No, nothing was changed, so.
Emily, anything from legal?
No.
Matt, anything from building?
Only that I would ask the lot sizes and descriptions we provided, so we could then move forward with the meeting requests.
Okay. Supervisor Leary, anything? No? At this point, we'll look for any public comment. Hearing none. Cindy, we still have time? We have to keep it open now? Have we done? Yeah, seeker.
Seeker has already been completed.
Oh, we did it.
So
Yeah.
this is generally just to let the planning board know of the change, let them know that the ZBA did not approve of the variances, so now we'll go forward with a 3-lot subdivision, and then once the non-compliance form is filed with the town clerk, they'll return to the ZBA, and then have to return to the planning board.
Okay. So we're table. Yep, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, look for a motion to table.
Move it.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Great. Yeah.
It's like a Rubik's Cube.
All right, let's see here. Where am I? Discussion on zoning map changes. This is the next item I've got on the list.
It's like a Rubik's Cube. Thanks. Thanks, Mom. You gotta be an engineer.
It's closer, right?
All right, it's closer than what I got. Didn't you grow up in the map age? I'm used to Google Maps. A screen this big.
Ed, did you want to speak to this one?
Yeah, I mean, through the changes, basically, the biggest change was we took the MFMU district, and it's been split. There's mixed use and multifamily. We went through the map, and all the sites that were already developed in an MFMU district, we reclassified either multifamily or multi-use, whatever they actually are. And then there were 2 areas of multifamily edit, is that right?
The area was added that is on Transit Road, that can enter Transit Road and then exit onto Como Park.
Yeah, at the corner, the southeast corner, basically, of Transit and Cromwell Park. So as an example, where Edgewater East is, that was MFMU. On the new map, that would be multifamily.
And Cindy, we've shared that with everybody, with the board?
So the map should have been sent out. Did everyone receive that? It was a lot.
I can't get it to move around. I can see where
It's
it
hard to
opens.
see me struggling.
Yeah, I couldn't get it to go at all, and
You know,
I
it
can
makes
see
it a
where-
little easier if you open it in Adobe versus Edge.
You're making it big, yeah, that was making it bigger.
The other code change that is being proposed is in the AR district. Currently, the AR district code is 300 feet by 3 acre for the lot size. Except if there is sewer, public sewer available, you are allowed to step that down to the residential district requirements. That allowance is being removed. If it's AR, it's AR. If they have sewer, no. It's 300 by 3 acres. It only really affects a small amount of property that's left that's AR that has sewer in front of it, so it's not a major impact.
Thank you. Cindy, is there anything else we need to talk about that?
Yeah,
I didn't know if we had any other notes on there.
Yeah, the code changes that Jennifer is writing up are basically addressing what the changes to the map are, really.
Yep.
They kind of go hand in hand.
And then once those code changes are available, then they'll be provided
To
to the
us.
planning board
Yep.
for review also.
Right.
And then seeker?
Your planning board has to make a referral, a recommendation back to the town board
Yep.
for adoption.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of where there's AR that's sewered.
Bowen Road, Bowen Brunk Hall,
Okay.
that's about the last piece.
I thought that was changed to residential, but I couldn't get over there.
No, it's still, I
The
believe it.
residential is on Aurora Street, where we have some land, but it is residential.
There's a
so
little
it will
left.
be affected by this.
Yeah.
Portion in Bronx is still within the Erie County Ag District. It's still being firm.
That's really like the last piece that meets that definition that we had.
So there's more to come on this, basically?
Yeah, the map, I don't think the map is going to change that I'm aware of. It's just the code changes that you'll see, the actual written code.
There may be a handful of lots that we're still just reviewing to make sure that we have the changes proper. Other than
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
we have to be saying this.
These are lots that are already developed, it's just making sure they,
Supervisor Larry, did you want to speak on this item?
Sure. As you know, we put together a moratorium, and we've taken more than a year to take a look at all these different property developments, places throughout the town of Lancaster. Through that process, we identified where we thought the major problems were, with the multifamily, multi-use being a big part of that whole thing. Some things sneaked in that probably shouldn't have. We wanted to make sure in the future they were better controlled going forward. So a lot of work has gone into this. A lot of people were, able to come and talk at our moratorium meetings, including, your chair, Cindy, Ed, Matt, and a lot of other people from the town, and at least one outsider during that process. So again, we're pretty happy with the results that we've gotten up to this point. Pretty happy with the map that it looks right now, and we will continue the process going forward and public hearings on this as we move forward. Hopefully be able to come to an end at the end of March. But we think we found most of the trouble spots. A lot of code change, or a lot of law changes actually are being done. I believe 7 different ones under the town attorney, and I think that's going to clear up a lot of the issues. And again, we're just here to protect the residents as best we can.
Yep.
And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Emily, you don't have anything to add to that, right?
No, I don't have anything you covered.
Okay. The next item that we have on our agenda is discussion on the referral of the special use permit application for the airport.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to note. So the way our town code is written, it actually, the special use permit application should come to the planning board, and the recommendation from the planning board be made to the town board. Previously, they've typically just gone straight to the town board on the implied approval of the planning board, having not come to the planning board within that 30-day period. So Matt, you might be able to fill in a little bit more of the back and forth with the project itself. I didn't see everything that was going on there, but that may be coming to the planning board, just to give you a heads up, since we don't typically see those applications from here.
Matt?
Well, just to recap, that the initial inquiries were basically a town board acknowledgement of an application for grant funding based on specific parameters of the grants. And most recently was a different type of grant. The first one in October was for some tree clearing, more safety maintenance for the runway. There was another, and then there's the secondary one, which is incorporating some additional buildings. That's going to need a site plan review. It's going to need recommendations, but we have to understand, I mean, this is an existing occupancy. It's been around for a bazillion years. It got zoned out. At some point, there was some kind of a use permit issued back in the day. It has long since expired. Here's an opportunity to renew that, taking the concerns of the surrounding areas and apply it to their project. We have a new batch of administrators there that are going to present something to this board. So, as of earlier today, my understanding is that there was a grant application extension, so that the dire need to have a resolution adopted has been, it was granted. I mean, they granted an extension. I would have to assume that there would be some sort of a plan put together, a presentation made to the town for a proper submittal to this board for review and public comment.
Okay, good. Supervisor Larry, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, we were asked to rush this thing through, and the board, I didn't see that it had the support of the board to do that. We got a lot of concerns with what has happened at the airport in the past, and we want to make sure before any expansion is done, that goes through an entire process. The public is allowed to comment on that, and the board had no intent to allow this to go through unless I missed something. At this point in time, it's going to have to follow all the steps. And this is a big change, so I would request that if they want to do something there, they come before the town board, so the town board knows what they're trying to do before they do anything else, the same way we do with any other new project in the town.
Makes sense to me. Any comments or questions from the board on that?
No.
Okay, any other items that the board would like to discuss? No?
I'd like to ask the supervisor to turn up the heat a bit. I mean outside. No, I mean outside. Yeah, I'm fine in here. No, this is fine.
Anything from engineering? Ed?
No.
Emily, anything from legal?
I don't have anything else.
Matt, anything more from the building department?
No, thank you.
Supervisor Leary, anything from the town or the supervisor's office?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
A lot of projects on Facebook, I see, from Scott. I know, looks like he's busy. Pretty soon he's gonna read scaffolding.
No, I get that.
put a deed restriction?
No.
No, we can't actually do deed restrictions. There are things that we can request the applicant do a deed